There has been so many beefs in the past. We've had rap beef, just like we had with Biggie and Tupac. We had comedy beef, like Corey Holcomb and Ashley Larry. Now we have judge beef. Judge Mathis and Joe Brown are now beefing, and this is how it started.
No, I only really met him once. Yeah, I met him once. And he said some slick stuff then, but in the end, he wasn't. Now that I think about it, he had no dementia then. But, I don't know what that was about either. I didn't respond at all.
The appellate courts of the United States and other courts were concerned about opening the courts back up again to broadcast media. He declined to show, and he said, "I'm sorry, I'm rehearsing for a gospel play." So I found that embarrassing. You're doing a church gospel play and you miss out on an opportunity to address the Second Circuit Court of Appeals for the United States.
But Judge Mathis says it's all cap, and this is what really happened.
Said 3 of those circuit court judges are now on the Supreme Court. The same Supreme Court that eliminated affirmative action. The same Supreme Court that is now giving the president open hand to do whatever he wants to do. The same Supreme Court, even though I'm not a supporter of abortion, I'm a defender of women's health and women's right to their health. But the same Supreme Court. So I wasn't going to go anywhere where the folks don't trust my values. He say I was at a gospel play rehearsal. No, I was with Reverend Jesse Jackson fighting for voting rights renewal of the Voting Rights Act.
Judge Brown went deeper by calling out Judge Mathis' family with this statement.
And go deal with his rainbow fixation. All his children, rainbow, man, what have you not been doing? Have you noticed at home with Judge Mathis with all of that rainbow stuff that they push? See, Hollywood tried to get me to do the same thing. I said, hell no, you're on your own with that. I'm not doing it, but he did.
The man put my wife's name in his mouth in the context of a hoe. When I had mentioned him calling Harris a hoe, and I said, he better not say it about my wife. His response next time he came on television was, something to the effect of, I don't know if his wife is a hoe or not. If she takes money, if she said that, she might be a... Who talks like that?
He was down there. He's one of those shows that makes low-level commercial money and you can keep on forever, and he was amenable to pushing the rainbow cult.
Mathis' family, he almost lost his wife to a divorce, which she claimed neglect, and when he was seen at the LA airport, he made this statement.
I'm not good, rather. It's the worst days of my life. How about that?
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I wanted to ask you, with news of the separation, how are you holding up?
Not holding up very well. Having fun with friends. That's what happens, guys. Never be too busy or never have too much fun beyond your wife. We're still in the same house and we're maintaining a friendship. And I'm trying to get my wife back. I have to show her that, though. Hopefully I can show her while we're there together before, and hopefully she doesn't complete the process. But I'm changing in hopes that she will.
After a year of getting back in her good graces, Judge Mathis and his wife went on the Tamron Hall show, and he expressed what a scary ordeal it was to almost lose his family.
And felt like I did when I lost my mother. That's the feeling I had. And I'd do anything to get my mother back. So I did anything to get my wife back.
Well, I have always, like you said, I supported him always. And at that time, I felt I needed to just take care of me. And that's what I felt I was doing at that time.
On this episode of Thursday Night Therapy, we talk about this and are men afraid of dying alone? Let's talk about it. All right, all right.
Welcome
What's
to
up?
Thursday Night Therapy, the show where we dive into the good, the bad, and the downright awkward conversations we all have or maybe should have in therapy. Tonight's topic: are men afraid of dying alone? But before we get into that, please take a moment to share, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that every time that we go live, you know when we're up. Just a reminder, tonight's topic: are men afraid of being alone? But first, let's talk about current events. Guys, take it away.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's up,
Um,
man? God, oh boy, listen, man. That Judge Joe Brown, that's a dirty dog right there, man. That Judge Joe Brown, he been hating, been hating. It's literally ridiculous because he always got Judge Mathis' name in his mouth. Every time I turn around, so he hates that man. I've never really known why. I guess we got a little bit of information on why, but man, that's ridiculous, man. I don't know why he hates that man so much.
I'm curious
yeah, it's
to see what is the root cause, because it's like it's two black judges. We don't see a lot of black judges like this. So I'm really curious, like what was the core, what was the core of this beef? What happened?
like I said, as you've seen in the clip, like I said, Judge Joe Brown, he ran for office, in actually in Tennessee. Um, he's proclaimed himself as a old school type of revolutionary type of judge. He was from the California area. Um, and he was around like Stokely Carmichael and all them. So he's kind of like on that type of level that he feels. So if he sees another judge that doesn't assert herself like he does, then he got upset with that because he thought that, maybe Judge Joe Brown would do the same thing he's doing. But like I said, they have completely different type of lifestyles. Um, Judge Joe Brown was known as a playboy type of guy. He was always out there in the streets with these females. You know what I'm saying? He's always out in the streets with the females. And Judge Joe Mathis, was a dedicated family man for all this time. So even though Judge Joe Brown did get married and all that, he was more out in the streets with the women, and he was more of a playboy type of guy than the Joe Mathis was. So it's two completely type of situations and how they deal with things. And as you see, Judge Joe Mathis, he had a show, and I guess his son is gay and has married a guy. And and Judge Joe Brown is way more conservative. He's actually supports Trump. I watched some of his things with it. He has a show with this lady named Dana, and they actually had he always like he's a conservative. So they're completely opposite type of guy. So and how it goes. You feel threatened by somebody, and naturally they're two black guys, and the only two black judges, and they're gonna beef with each other.
Man, thank you for saying threatened, because that's all that smelled like. That was a long way to go about. This sound like Cat Williams and Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Just like you just don't like that man because he came after you, and y'all basically have to share that same spotlight. So any black judge, before Mathis came along, Joe Brown was the black judge. Now there's two. Now you got to split that time. Now you have to split television time, and you know that Mathis ended up on TV longer than Brown. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know what it was, but I think it smells a lot like that.
Yeah, it sounded like it sounded like some major hating, because who just starts throwing people's family and stuff, regardless if you agree with how their family is, you just start calling them the Rainbow Crew or whatever he said. So that is wild. That is wild. Wild. And he's actually divorced. So maybe that's his whole thing. He was married for like 16 years or something like that. And maybe he's jealous. That adds to you jealous. You jealous, bro.
No,
But it's sad. It's sad.
yeah, like you said though, man, you don't talk about a man's family though, and it's like everybody knows that. And I had seen a clip before where they was talking about throwing heads. I can't remember which one it was who said it first, but one of them said, "I wish he would. I would whop him." Like I think Joe said, like he put hands on Mathis, and Mathis laughed it off, like, "I wish he would. I beat the brakes off of Judge Brown." But them
Wow.
boys got on-site beef. What are they, like 70? They got to be over 70. They both
So
got to be.
listen, Joe Brown is 78 years old. So
Jeez Louise.
like
They got
he
on-site
looking.
beef.
He looking. I don't know who he's really fighting. And Judge Mathis, let's see how old Judge Mathis is,
I
because
got on site beef. Like when I see you, like it's up, and them niggas is like 70 plus, bro. It's crazy.
Mathis is 65.
65 and 79.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mhm.
I guess you know what my money going on.
Right.
Well, you just gotta talk tough. I think you get older and you still gotta talk tough. You can't be like, oh,
You
he
still
gonna
got
whoop
to
my
talk
ass.
tough.
You still got to talk tough. I don't even understand why you would even have these conversations. Like this is a problem, right? You got two black men. There's not a lot of black men judges. They're in a space where if they collaborated, right, they could do bigger and better things. And it does seem like they have differing opinions, and that's okay. But when I watched this, I was like, these look like women. These are two women fighting. And it's about nothing. There's nothing about it that they're fighting about. So it's that sad to see.
Yeah, it's very sad. Um, so yeah, so that I mean that pretty much sums up what their beef is. I think it's petty. You know what I'm saying? And and as I noticed, like with a lot of you would think that a lot of older people would, they would be more different, but the older people get, the more it seems like they're more locked into what their values and stuff are and things like that. And I think in this
Mhm.
case, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, they're just, older guys that's stubborn and they're just locked into their ways, man. It's just that's how they're going to be for the rest of their life. That's just where it's at.
Oh
But
man.
okay, let's get into tonight's topic. Um, and that's if you've seen the beginning piece towards the end, you've seen that Judge Joe Mathis, um, his wife started being dissatisfied with their situation. They had been married for a long time, um, and he did a lot of traveling, for his work and all that. And a lot of times, you would think that. That people would just respect you being a money earner, but a lot of times that alone is not enough. She was still felt like she was lonely. He wasn't, he wasn't making her a priority in his life, and she filed for divorce. And as you see, when he was at the airport, um, I mean, he was hurt, man. He couldn't believe it. Like, he was like, man. And and then it's in those moments that you realize, I mean, what's most important to you in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's the woman that raised his kids. Um, she been there with him from the beginning before, became so famous. He ain't gonna find another one like that because everybody from this point forward that meets him knows that he's famous and whatnot. And it's not going to be genuine. He can get him a little young girl
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, but I mean, what's that going to do? So
Yep.
that's the person that was most important in his life,
Yep.
and he fought for her. So I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of times, man, as a man, as we get go through life, man, we do make mistakes. And sometimes we can be caught up in our situation or whatever, and we can lose track. And as we get older, we realize the things that are most important as we go on because we don't want to be alone. Like I said, are men afraid of dying alone? And I'm gonna just give you another example too. My father, I'm a junior, right? And he was Big Chuck. Um, and he when I went to, my dad he was a ladies man. He had so many females. I mean, that I seen growing up and everything. And he always he always had females around him. But when he died, wasn't none of them females at his funeral. You know what I'm saying? It was only my stepmother, and of course my mom and everybody else, the family. But all these hoes that he always paid all this attention to, um, none of them was there for him at the end. So so for me seeing that at the funeral, you know what I'm saying, that kind of like it changed the way I thought too, because it's like, man, like, man, this ain't nothing. This is just temporary, man. You know what I'm saying? People gonna love you when you winning, but like I said, when he was at the hospital and all that, you ain't see no business from none of these people. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of just sad just to see, you put all your time and money into all these different females and people that don't care about you, and then you ended up dying by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like with nobody that really cares about you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. Yeah. One of the things that what we were when this topic was broached for the week, one of the things that I kind of thought about was I had seen a video, and actually it was an older video, but it was Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey was on a podcast. I think it's called The Pivot, and he was talking about when his father died, when he talked about when his father died, he basically referenced that there was no one left after his father passed to tell them that they were proud of him. And in watching that, I realized that as you grow and get older, and all of the people who were once mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and auntie and uncle, all of the people in the generation above you, they dissipate at some point. And you're left with the love of your children, which is a different kind of love. It's still love, but it's a different kind of love. So what I see Judge Mathis here valuing, he compared the love of his wife to that of his mother. And see, with his mother gone, it's easy to do that because he doesn't get that love anymore. So she is the place that he draws that from. So just, to me, that was low-key deep, just in how you can grow closer as you grow older. And it's a really good example of how you can grow closer growing older, because you lose so many other relationships along the way that you and that person have an opportunity to be really, really close. And I see that with Judge Mathis in particular. And I mean, yeah, I get it. It was revealing.
Yeah, I give him props too, because she filed for divorce, and I doubt it was something like he just had no idea. I think he knew. I think she's been talking about it for a while, and she actually went through with it. And it was like, "Oh, you serious?"
Yeah, he didn't believe it.
He didn't believe it. So I don't believe it was something new that happened. I think it's something that has been brewing for years. And you kind of feel like, I'm okay with just not having a husband. I'm okay with being by myself. But I think he was like, oh wait, but I'm not okay. Let me fix this. What was wrong? I'll correct it. So I'm glad that he recognized that, yeah, there was things that he could fix, and that he was willing to fight for your marriage. I think marriages last a bit longer when someone has to fight for the marriage, but also someone has to be open to receiving that, to understanding like, okay, I recognize I do want to be with you. And I don't think she necessarily doesn't want to be with him. I just think she probably, one of the things you guys tell me is that men sometimes weigh the pros and cons, and whatever it was, the being by herself was a pro versus in the con. She got her kids, she's cool, but I'm glad they were able to work it out, because marriage is hard, especially they've been together for like 40 years.
Exactly. So do we think that Judge Mathis do we think he's afraid of dying alone?
Oh, yeah.
He's just afraid of living alone? I mean, since we're on the topic of him, I mean, he went back to her, but there's a lot of different reasons. Do we feel like that was a motivating factor?
Oh, yeah. I think so, because someone's been with you for 40 years. They know you. They know your ticks, they know your tricks, they know what you like, they know what you don't. They know you. There is a sense of comfort there. If he had to go back out there, sure, he'd get him a young girl, but very few young women are really there for you. They're there for the money, right? So as soon as they don't recognize signs of a stroke. So if you have a stroke, they're like, oh, that's crazy. Right? So I think it's, and my dad the same way. There was a point where my mom, I needed her to wait at the college campus for a bit to pick her up. And my dad was like, oh, I'm gonna stay here with her. And I'm like, bruh, it's a college campus. Nobody's gonna do it. And it's during the day. Like, nothing's happening to this woman. But he was like, nah, I'm gonna stay here till you get her. I do not want to start all over again. And he meant that shit, right? Because that's people like today. You have to relearn people, you have to get to know people, and then your health ain't where it used to be. You ain't got time for games, and it's just harder. So I think most men would rather finish off the end point of their life, because he's, statistically, he has like 10 years left. He could have more, but statistically, he has like 10 years left. And it just makes more sense to not change horses in the middle of water. Not to call her a horse, but it's a euphemism.
Right. And I mean, like I said, and when I watch like just talking about the two judges about dying alone, when I look at Judge Brown, like he has a podcast with some lady named Dana. She's some girl from New York that does it, but he's becoming senile. Like the things that he says, he keeps repeating it all the time. And and he's sitting at his house by himself, like, what I'm saying, he's like Mr. on the Color Purple, when he remember he had the chickens, and it was like, what I'm saying, his house was dirty and everything. That's what Joe Brown looks like, man, when he's at the crib like that, man. It's just, he's a lonely guy, you can just tell. So I think that's part of what Joe Mathis was afraid of, what I'm saying, is being by yourself, because I mean, your life is just totally different. Like I said, your house is not a home if it doesn't have love and family there. You know what I'm saying? It's so much more different. Being without your loved ones. Um, and I'm gonna cue up a video of another person that we all know, and I played this video before, but this was so ironic. And this was Kevin Samuel's last one. This is part of his last show that he did before he passed away. And I want to let me cue this up real quick. And he was biased, but he was. Hold on. I will talk about it after I play it. Here we go.
Okay, you need to. Okay, I'm about to get back on camera. Just get wherever you're gonna get to. So. You get it? Okay. All right. All right, let's get it.
Okay, that was his last show, and the person that he was talking to in the background was a nurse that I guess he was having sex with. So I don't know, I think she was an Instagram chick or whatever the case may be. And I mean, bro, like I said, he gave all this advice on who to get with and all that. But at the end of the day, he was around some little hood. Well, she wasn't a hood rat, but he was around just a basic female. She ain't care nothing about it. She was around him because he had clout. As you see, she was walking around while he was doing the show. I mean, I think to me that's kind of sad. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that he was kind of young when he died, so he didn't expect that. But you just never know when it's going to be your last time on this earth, man. And you know, and, and who you have around you. I mean, that matters, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just that was, to me, that was just so ironic and sad to me, man. You know what I'm saying? That was the last time you seen him and looked perfectly fine, and he just checked out, and rumor has it, because he was having sex with this young chick. You know what I'm saying? He died on top of her. You know what I'm saying? So, man, like I said, if he was married, like I said, and this is the thing about women too, man. And they automatically can see subtle changes, man. That's why they're so good at busting men and things like that. They can see changes in you. Like, sometimes my wife can look at me like, and she knows, like, she can see my eyes is red a little bit or whatever. She notices little subtle changes about me. Or if I'm doing some other little, she can see it, bro. Like, she knows when shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And these are the types of things that can be life or death type of actions. He might have been tweaking some type of way, and his girlfriend don't, or the girl he was fucking didn't know anything about him, so she didn't know if this is normal or not normal. You know what I'm saying? Where she could have probably got him some attention or whatever the case may be. But when you're by yourself and you think that you're invincible, I mean, bro, like, people don't know that. That's why I say it's important, man. Choosing a mate is more than just having sex or somebody that's cute. It's somebody that's gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying, in your time of need. And just having these hoes for temporary pleasure, man, that don't amount to nothing long term, man. So think about that. You know what I'm saying, when you're choosing someone, because like I said, that situation with him, man, I think he could still be with us. I think if he, really had a wife or somebody that could tell, or just, and you know how these young girls is anyway. They don't give a fuck. Like, he older, he probably was taking pills just to try to hit it and all that. You know what I'm saying? Where what I'm saying. Women gonna get theirs, bro. So like even that behavior just don't match up either. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just trying to fuck these young girls, and when you in your 50s, like, you need to slow down a little bit, bro. Finesse it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing the same tricks you did when you was 30s, bro. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? When you get in your 50s, it's a little bit different, dog. So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Hey, bro, you broke that one down, man. Usually when you go for a couple minutes straight,
You don't know where you're gonna go. Yeah.
But spot on, brother. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, because you took the words right out of my mouth when you said who you have around you at that time matters. Listen, it takes a certain kind of love to value your life over the insurance money. I'm gonna say that one more time. Special kind of love. to value your life being here and your existence over the insurance money that comes with your death.
Mm.
And that's the type of, again, comes from a particular type of partner, to your point. Not no loosey-goosey girlfriend, hang out, hang about type of situation, but no, a real love. Someone who, no, I would rather you be here than to have the things that come with your passing. And Kevin, in the example that you gave of Kevin Samuels, again, this is, like you said, somebody young who doesn't know, bruh, but who also doesn't have that kind of passion and connection to do whatever it takes in that moment to make sure that she saves his life. And as we all know, split seconds matter. 2 minutes matter, whether, emergency EMT folks get there, whatever the case, fast acting, whatever it is, it all matters. And I would much rather have my life in the hands of somebody who I know that genuinely loves me than to have my life in the hands of somebody who I know doesn't, if my life has to be in the hands of anyone at all.
That's
Right.
what's up. That's what's up. And men, when they are married, they live longer. Um, one of the things Chuck pointed out before, he was like, what did he say? His wife got him eating healthier foods, stuff he wasn't eating before. Single Chuck might be out here, I don't know, eating tacos and shrimp all the time. You can't eat tacos and shrimp all the time, Chuck. It's not good for you. Especially if you get you a fit wife, she's in the gym. If you're willing to listen to her and you're willing to, let her help you, you'll be in the gym. So those are my mom, she has my dad's pills ready. She has him going to the doctor. There's a lot of men who don't go to the doctor just off their own. I think Black men are of the races of men, they're less likely to go to the doctor. So because they're less likely to go to the doctor, they're more likely to die from preventable cures like cancers that could have been um, identified much earlier. One guy, and I don't know, this is just me talking aside, like he probably could have known, whatever, but you got Chadwick Boseman, and you got D'Angelo, and you have several men who we could look up who've died from cancers and things like that. Chadwick was married, so that's a little different. But you have a lot of cures and things preventable that if you would go to the doctor more, that maybe you could see it. So when you're married to a wife, she's gonna nag you. She's gonna nag you. You need to go to the doctor. She's gonna set you up, and then she's gonna go. If she's a good wife, my mom goes to the doctor with my dad, because if he goes to the doctor and the doctor tells him stuff, he don't know what they're saying, and he gives her the advice, and he's just like, yeah, he said this about stuff. Like just like that. That's not me being facetious. He said this about stuff. That didn't mean nothing. So now my mom is going to the doctors, making sure he takes his medicine. So when men are in marriages, they end up living longer because you have someone who's taking care of you and making sure that you're getting the care that you have. When you're being single forever, I think that's what a lot of some of these red pillars or incels are pushing. When you're a single man forever, as you get older, I know the thought process is as long as I got money, I can pull a woman, but a great deal is that she's there with you for your money and she's not there for the emotional connection that you need. There's also a higher rate of suicide amongst men because of loneliness. So it I can see why, I don't want to say dying alone, but a lot of guys don't want to necessarily be alone. It takes such a mental toll on you, and that's why their mental health is important.
Yeah, I think that once life is it's full circle. You know what I mean? We start out in diapers, and we, we work our way out of them, and then as it comes full circle, we work our way right back into them on the way out. So like, really old people and babies have a lot of similarities, that kind of deal that people kind of talk about. And the nurturing of a woman is really, really important to that of a baby or a child. In my opinion, it's equally important to that of the elderly. So I'm completely with you on like that nurturing goes a very long way. The making sure you go to the doctor, the making sure that your pills are taken, the going to the doctor with you to listen to what's needed, to genuinely make sure that you live longer. Like, I mean, talk about a great gift, literally with the intent of adding years, putting years onto your life. So now, I mean, when we go through that cycle, a lot of the young men out here, you probably feel really strong and really mighty. You're probably somewhere between 18 and 40. You probably feel like a real big man, and I get it. But just like we tell these ladies to use what they got to procure what they want for their future when they're young and fruitful, and at their highest value is when we want them to procure the man that's going to be attached to them for their future and that's going to protect and provide for them, so on and so forth. Same thing on our boat, fellas. When we're on our strengths, that's a really good time to use what we got to get what we want. So while we're out here big and we're invincible, remember, one day you'll be not so invincible. One day you'll get out of the bed and your foot will hurt for no reason. One day you will go to the doctor and they will tell you that your cholesterol is high and you need to take these pills a certain amount of times per day, and you're not good at remembering how to do those things. One day you will need nurture. One day you will need care. So, my recommendation is to use what you have to get what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
And do y'all think, because for me, I have noticed that percentage wise, most of the men that I know, especially as we get older, have somebody, and then there's a lot of women that don't. Like, I think it's more women that are by themselves at an older age, I think, than men. You know what I'm saying? Um, and why? I mean, have y'all seen that, and why do y'all think that is?
Why there's more women by themselves than men are by themselves in their older
Right.
age?
Hmm.
Oh, sure. I think that a lot of your women, um, if they've been married and they've gone through a divorce, they're less likely to really jump in another marriage. If they have children, they're even less likely to more want to be married just because of the toll. If she got divorced, she wasn't really interested in the marriage. And some women get divorced and they suck. I'm gonna put that out there. Some women suck. They divorced somebody who was actually a very good guy, and some women divorced a guy and they just they weren't feeling the marriage. Especially if you feel like you were a good wife, you dedicated yourself. But after doing that, and just because a lot of guys look at women to be the support, to be all in all. And that's a lot of work. That woman puts a lot of work in that marriage. So to do it again when she gets older, it's not really beneficial for her, because one of the things we talked about is that the woman is taking care of his pills, and she's feeding him and she's going to his doctor's appointment, things like that. So she's putting a lot into him. Not to mention she also has to do that for her. And as a woman, you only do that for someone who you really, really love. To do that just for a guy who you kind of like and he's older, you're like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Whereas we talked about men, they're more likely to want that emotional support. Go ahead, Dante. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good, man. I was gonna say, man, one or two things, Chuck. Either they are killing us or they're outliving us. Most of those older women you talk to, their husband died. A lot of the time, like, he's already gone. They're outliving us.
Mhm.
Either that or they putting something in our oatmeal to get rid of us. One or the other. But they are outliving us either way. So a lot of the time, their husband has died. And to Champagne's point, to couple that with Champagne's point, when you're in your 60s, 70s, and your husband has died, you're not apt to jump into a situation where you're going to do all of that for someone who has never provided and protected you over. Like, that comes with your husband protecting and providing with you over a given time where he's weak, brittle, old, where you're more than willing to care and nurture for him because
Mhm.
there's something that's put in there. But you don't just walk up to a man at 65 and volunteer to just take care of an older, sickly, brittle man because that's what you want to do. So a combination of the two. But I mean, a lot of the times, a lot of these women have husbands and they've had husbands and their husbands have
Mhm.
passed. What you see a lot of the times is that a lot of women, they don't remarry after their husbands. But if they're over
Mhm.
50, 60 years old, a lot of the time they don't.
They'll get a
See,
boyfriend,
Yeah.
but they'll get a little
Yeah.
Mister. Everybody have like, oh, that's my friend, that's my one friend,
Yeah.
hmm
but they ain't getting married. My grandma did that. She divorced my grandfather when they were late 50s, I want to say. And she should have been divorced him, but she got divorced, and they still remain cool. She still took care of him, but she got a boyfriend after that. They
Okay.
was cool. He loved on her and everything. My grandma was out here pimping, and he
Stop
passed
telling
away
that
from
lady.
cancer.
Yeah.
Well, but she passed away, so it was like. But
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
proud of her.
somebody got to
I'm
stand up
proud
for
of
grandma,
grandma.
telling grandma business.
I'm proud of grandma. Everybody, I remember Papa Ferg, but when grandma's boyfriend passed away, She was like, "Oh, I'm done." Like she was cool. That was the greatest love of her life. And when you are a woman and you meet a man who is the greatest love of your life, there's no other man that can compare. Why try?
Man, look here. The reason why women are by themselves is by choice most of the time, because women, and I've seen it. Listen, women get older, they start biting men's heads off. Like they become man killers. I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? My mom and her girls and shit like that. All they do is look for flaws in men and just look for any reason why they should dog them. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I mean, there are still good men out there, but it just doesn't meet their standards. You know what I'm saying? And the first sign for anybody, the first sign of being righteous is humility. And I really think, like I said, these women and then the grandmas ain't the same grandmas that they used to be. They competing with these young girls. I'm gonna cue up this video again. Uh and this is hold on, I'm gonna cue up this video. Like I said, these are hoes, okay? And these
Oh,
are grandma hoes right here.
If he treats me like a princess and that dingle ain't good, but he's married, whoop-de-doo. He has a wife and a mistress. Whoop-de-doo.
How do you sleep at night knowing people don't like you?
With no underwear in case they want to kiss my ass.
Girl, leave me the fuck alone. I'm trying to get my squats in. Leave me alone. Leave us alone.
Wow.
Yeah, these are grandmothers. These are the grandmothers
wow.
these days. Like I said, it's completely different, man. You know, I just think like it's like I told y'all before, it's the plight of the black woman to be independent. That's what her journey is. After she went out and had her kids and everything, she joins the Single for Life Club. And all her women that she hang around are single and they just start talking shit about men. And all they do now is use men. Like I told you, they become salt water. That's what women become. They can become salt water. Salt water, you can play in it like at the beach, but you can't drink it because it's toxic. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, I'm gonna play one more video.
Oh, what?
this,
Is
this
that
is
saltwater paint or is that?
yeah,
No, no, Chuck.
Okay.
this is another example of what women look for as they get older. They just look for validation. Check this out. I think y'all put this in the chat. Check this out.
I'm starting to understand why these older women are dating these little YNs. So I'm in a grocery store. This little YN come up to me and he shoot his shot. He was like, "Hey, first he said my hair was cute." I was like, "Thank you." Keep going around the store. He come back. He say, "Hey, you beautiful. Can I get your number?" I was like, granted, I said, "No, I'm seeing somebody." However, they're a little more forward. It's like the men that are in my age range, y'all look off.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Now, like I said, it's been many a
What?
times
So
when I
now
was
you know that
younger.
she's gonna run up on you now.
She's not even a grandma. She's like 35.
Thank you. This is where it starts. Like I said,
What?
listen.
Oh my
When,
gosh.
when I'm serious, listen. When I was in high school, I was dating 30-year-old women. You know what I'm saying?
That's gross.
They tried whatever they could to steal my youth as a young man. It becomes to where they become more masculine, and they just start like that's how they use young dudes. They use them like they use them like females. You know what I'm saying? The tide starts changing as women get older because they find out, men their age ain't gonna go for the same stuff. So they look for young men so they can take away their youth. And I've seen that a lot.
Sounds like what men do. Yeah, I get it.
Even
Yeah. Right.
I think that's generational. Did you feel that way about your grandmother?
She said, Dante,
Feel like
like,
your
hey, your mom's a grandma,
Do you feel
isn't
like
she?
do you feel like your grandmother behaved that same way?
No. My
So me,
grandma,
I,
yeah.
every generation faces its own battles, and there definitely is a slew or crowd of women who fit that mold for sure. But I don't think we can just label that across the board. But I do think that there's a group who grew up in a certain, and they all grew up probably
Mm-hmm.
the same 10-year decade together. Where you're right, they are
Mm-hmm.
as hell, and they definitely competing with the young girls and all those other things as
Mm-hmm.
well. But not my mama and them. You got my mama messed up, man.
You're not about to talk about his man's mama. Yeah, my
Right.
mom ain't even like that. If my dad were to pass away tomorrow, she would never get married, and she would live her best. She liked being at a house. She ain't out here trying to catch no eyes, no men. Like Dante said, there's a certain demographic of women. Like I do have cousins who would probably do that,
Yep.
right? But those are also cousins I don't fuck with because there's a whole different mindset, right? But a lot of the women who I do know who are like that, they ain't out here to no. If if they don't want to deal with a man their age, they sure don't want to deal with a young nigga. They ain't got no money yet. They don't know how to give you an orgasm. They over here talking about beating you up the box and putting you through walls, and they don't even make love. They're trying to abuse you sexually. So ain't nobody. Mature. I think that's one of the things. Even with men and women, that's one of the things we have to identify: mature-minded individuals and mature-minded men. A lot of the women I know, they're not doing that, and Dante's mom isn't doing it either.
Hell no, my mom.
but man, but as you see though, there's a really high rate of women in their 50s that are getting
No.
BBLs and getting breast enhancements and all. Oh yes, they're competing with these younger girls, and like I said, it throws a lot of cats off. Like you gotta like it's kind of like out of it doesn't go with nature because you got a old woman that's giving you type of you know grandma type of attention, but she has a body like she's in college. So it's like these young dudes is confused, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they getting plastic body like BBLs and everything is throwing the game off, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Oh my
lot of older
gosh.
women that are doing this to younger men. Especially, and I always see like if you say online or anything, somebody on Facebook when if you see they got a body, and if they got a body and they have money, then 9 times out of 10 is from surgery. You know what I'm saying? It's not because they went to the gym, and it's just man, it's crazy out here, man. It's,
So
for these young guys especially.
so how does this tie into men down alone? You saying that basically men have less choice? How does that tie into?
The reason why I even brought that up is because I just said that more men are by themselves. I mean, more women are by themselves than men. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the reason why is because I don't think women even want to be in a relationship at that age. They have fun and they play games with with young guys, take away their
No.
youth. You know what I'm saying? And I think when guys get older, I think it's the reverse. Like we start realizing that the end is coming, and we do realize that we are more we are more vulnerable as we get older, and we do need some, what I'm saying, because when I like I said, just like when I was younger, I mean, I had fun, man. I just wanted to have fun. But as I got more mature, I seen the bigger picture. And I think a lot of men do see that, and they're more likely, to get married at an older age than a woman is. You know what I'm saying? Because the situations are reversed. Now with a woman, now you're starting to get older, you get long in the tooth. And then not only that, you know what I'm saying, your bodies and things like that, things are changing about you, and you're not attracting them like you used to. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it goes in reverse for women and men.
I mean, but also
Mhm.
based on what we described, I mean, we basically described. I mean, women's role married to an old man is a pretty hefty role.
Yeah, who jumped
I
into
think
that?
listen, making sure his pills are together, and if this old ass nigga fall down the stairs, making sure he's in the hospital and shit. I mean, I would have running to sign up for that either. So I mean, I can't necessarily blame him, but that's again the purpose of these unions, guys. And I haven't gone back to this in a while, so we're gonna bring it back because
Mhm.
these unions, guys, that they were supposed to be created much longer, much. I mean, they're supposed to be created much longer ago at appropriate age to build a family together and to establish that unconditional love. But yeah, if you out here and I'm sure if you're 60 and single, I'm sure it's very difficult to date. If you're 55 and single, I'm sure it'd be because people who are 40 and single are having trouble dating. I can't imagine what it's like to be in your 50s or 60s and newly single. I'm sure that's really tough.
Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh. And to go back, like again, women are not doing these for young niggas. One of the things you brought up is the fact that men start realizing life is short. I'm coming to the end. I need to get me a woman. Women, on the other hand, is just like, I've been with this nigga who drained me for 40 years. I hate this dude. I hate the way he breathes. I hate the way he walk. I hate the way he talk. I hate all of that. So why am I going to spend the last years where I am cognizant where I can have the ability to move and to do things? Why would I spend that unhappy? And it's like something that clicks on and says, "Oh, I ain't got to do that." he didn't treat me right. So at this point, they don't even, women who take care of their bodies, I know this is crazy, right? Some women do it to pull men. But a lot of women do it because it's good to take care of your bodies. That's why they live it longer. Because
Oh,
they taking care of their bodies.
oh my
They're
God,
going
I
to
never
the
knew
gym.
that. They do it for themselves?
They do
Really?
it for themselves. That's crazy.
That's what they say. That's what
They
they
do
be saying.
it for themselves. They stop because when you've been with a man for so long, you're not centering men. As younger, like what you guys, hurry up, get you a man, hurry up, get you a man, hurry up, get you a man. And then you get a man, and you're like, oh, this ain't all
So,
that's cracked up to be.
so you genuinely think that people go out of their way to look good, not to attract the opposite sex?
I think so, yeah.
That don't
If
make
you
sense.
were in the gym,
Like
why would you not do it for yourself?
looking good, but you know that the better you look, the more of the opposite sex you attract. Like it don't make
That's not the
sense.
only thing. You
Huh?
look good. That's not the only thing. You look good because statistically, when you look better, people
Not
treat you better.
champagne.
Not just men, not just men. And I've seen it. If I go out looking regular,
Uh-huh.
no one bats an eye. If I'm like, you know what, let me put a little blush on, let me put some makeup on, I get meals paid for me, men and women. Doors are held over longer. Dressing better and looking better gives you better service.
Anyway, thank you.
Doing all.
Thank you, Internet.
And
That,
I'm not negating that some do it for men. I'm not negating that. But I think it's mighty crazy to apply it to all older women when they especially don't really want to be with men at this time. They just want to look
it's,
good. These dudes told them when they were younger, you can't wear red nails because that's whore. Now they have the ability to do whatever it is they want without men saying shit, and they do not care.
and what they want to do is get a bigger ass because niggas, because women like, I'm sorry, who likes big asses? Who likes big asses, Chuck?
They like it
Men.
themselves.
Who likes big asses, Chuck?
Right. That's
Who
true.
like big titties, Chuck?
That's right.
There
That's
are.
right. That's right.
I think men feel like everything is done for men. Everything ain't done for y'all. Y'all might do
Man,
everything for
please.
women. Everything ain't done for y'all.
You know that if you look better, you're going to attract more of the opposite sex. Subsequently, whether you try to mask it under you're doing it for yourself or whatever the case, you know that comes with it. I know
I
that.
can't help that.
Right.
That's not my problem. You're attracted to
Oh,
me because I don't look good for me.
yeah, I'm gonna start saying that shit too.
Yeah. But
Like
see,
that shit
Go get in the gym.
sound good as hell. Like women in my DM, forget them. Like I don't care if they like my beard or my dreads or the color of my eyes. I have this eye color for me.
Hey,
That
I
shit
go to
sound
the
good.
gym
I like that.
for
Okay,
me.
start using that shit that y'all use. See, the thing is, a lot of the time people tell themselves stuff so much they start to believe it. That does not make sense. You
No,
know
that's
damn
not true.
well if you go out of your way to make yourself more attractive, you're more attractive to the opposite sex. So to go out of your way to make yourself more attractive while simultaneously saying, I don't want to be attracted to the opposite. I don't want to be attracted to the opposite sex is silly.
Do you think Little Kim is attractive today?
no.
Little Kim. No,
No.
right? But she's doing all this for men?
No, she's doing that for her industry. She's in an industry that
She's doing it for
men,
herself.
but she's not doing it for herself. Though.
But she's not doing it for niggas.
For herself. You think Lil Kim did that for herself? Damn.
She does it for herself because a lot of guys thought that she was cute back in the day. If you hear a lot of guys, they'll say, I thought she was cute before she did anything.
She doing it.
She felt a way about herself. She wanted to look more attractive. The tiger, like, just go look at people do things. Do people do things for the opposite sex? They do.
The young host,
but not every woman.
That's not self-love what Lil Kim is doing. That's a terrible example. Lil Kim trying to keep up with the young hoes.
But you said that she does it for men. She's doing it because she doesn't feel like she's pretty enough. That's why people get surgery. They don't feel. They've been told all their life. Oh, we make fun. Black people love making fun of. Make fun of because you too black. We make fun because you too big. We make fun because you too skinny. We make fun because your ass too little. We make fun because we make fun of you. So you have these things in your head. Of course, you're like, you know what? This is all. So everybody always made fun of my nose. Let me go fix my nose. Let me look good for myself because I always felt like that was bad on me. People do it for people. True. But just because she got her surgery doesn't mean she's trying to attract a nigga. She wants to look good in her eyes.
I wish men did all this shit, man.
What?
I'm gonna go get some muscles and a big giant dick just because, I'm gonna change my skin tone. I'm gonna do it all for myself.
Guys do that. Who's that basketball player who's white now?
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, he looked like fucking vampire.
Yeah, so that is that a compliment
He
or
did that for bitches, or did he do that for himself? Because I can tell you, Sammy was probably pulling before he started bleaching.
no, man? Sammy was sick in the head. He wants to be white.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a thing they do on the islands. It's an inferiority thing. Where they bleach their skin a lot on the islands. That's a thing where, like I said, I think it's madness. Really, you know what I'm saying? They look at being lighter as better. But for me, I think that really the reason is because they want to look better to themselves. Because women, as they get older and your physical starts to decline, you start losing your superpower. Like I said, when you start getting older, you'll become a bee without a sting. You know what I'm saying? Because you can no longer manipulate when you looking older and you ain't got no body or nothing because ain't nobody, don't nobody care. But sexual attraction is a tool that is used by women since the beginning of time to manipulate men. And once you lose
oh
that power to
God,
manipulate, yeah, it's the truth. Once you lose that power to
it's not
manipulate,
the truth.
then you do not
Women been
you do
using.
you do not feel the same thing about yourself that you
So
did
here's
when
the
you was younger.
thing that you guys are
That's why they get
missing.
the surgery. It's
When
because
women are in their 50s and 60s, they go through something called menopause.
what that got
In
to do with getting ass and
menopause,
titties, Champagne?
in
What that got to do with ass and
menopause,
titties?
they're not even trying to have sex with men.
Well,
They're turned off. Their
listen, it
hormones
doesn't matter,
change. They're not trying to. They
Champagne.
don't want men. They
Champagne, it
want to
don't
look out for
matter.
themselves. It does matter.
It's a manipulation tool.
It is
They
not
use that to manipulate.
manipulation. You
It
got to
is.
try different. Do differently,
Sex,
Chuck.
It,
sex and
it,
sex appeal is definitely a tool that's been used since the beginning of time by women to manipulate.
It is a
stop.
tool, but that's not what they're doing. And to be like, this is most women, that's facetious. That's facetious and incorrect. Like I said, some women, yes. Most, no. You know how I
So,
know?
so
I
some
happen to
some
talk to women and
no.
really listen to them versus
Listen,
putting what I
no.
think.
Let me give you an example, Champagne, and before you finish. The reason how I know this and how women manipulate, they always put their first asset out there. When you look at their profile picture or anything like that, you can have a fat girl, but she might have a nice little set of titties, and she'll just show the titties. You know what I'm saying? She'll show whatever tool that she has to manipulate. She won't show the rest of her body. That's how I used to know when I used to like be on dating sites and shit. I'd be like, hold on, she ain't showing none of that ass or nothing like that. I'm like, oh, she ain't got no body whatsoever. But if you got the body, you're gonna put it out there so you can use that to manipulate. Like, look, this is what I'm working with. So, nigga, you got better come right. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they do it, man. So stop capping, bro. You
I'm
know
not.
that.
You
That's why
you
y'all be
know you
showing.
know the
Listen,
worst type of
when
women,
women
Chuck.
got why did listen? The most dangerous women is an ugly woman with a body. Because everybody
Uh-huh.
trying to get at her, and she knows she got some ass and she got a body. They just want to fuck her. So she's really has the most attitude out of anybody because she's been used. She know they're not going to stay
Mm-hmm.
after they hit it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And that's what it is. It's sexual tension. It's a sexual tension game. Straight
Yeah,
up.
they're not thinking
It-
about that in their 60s.
yes,
Iman is gorgeous.
they may
Used to
not
be
be
her
thinking
husband
about the
died.
sex part,
She ain't
but
out here trying to pull up on no dude.
it's a manipulation thing. If they're not cute,
No,
nobody's gonna pay attention. You become irrelevant when you just stop having a body. You know
they're
that.
okay with that. They do not
No,
want to be
they're
relevant
not.
towards
They would
men. They don't want to be
BBLs
relevant.
wouldn't be
If
selling
they're
so
not
much if it
if
didn't
they're not
matter.
trying to
It
marry
does
men,
matter.
they're not trying to be relevant to men.
It's not even about just men. I told you it's a manipulation thing. You're irrelevant if you don't have a body. Look at all these TV shows. They only show girls that got bodies on here. All
Because
the
it's
girls have
TV,
surgery.
Chuck.
Look at. Thank you.
It's
If they didn't have
TV.
a body,
You're not
they would
gonna
be
watch TV.
irrelevant.
Someone's built like a
They
board.
would be irrelevant. They would just be normal. And they would just be basic chicks. But since they got all these BBLs and shit, now they become relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's all it
You
is.
cannot apply
But it's
TV
fake. But it's
standards to
fake
normal
though.
everyday people.
Just like with the Cardi B thing. Like I said, after a while, Offset got tired because the BBL started stinking and shit, and he got used to that fake shit. When he seen these natural little young girls, bro, she couldn't compare to that. You know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah.
tired of that fake shit. That
I mean,
I'm talking.
Offset is not like
It's
the
a manipulation
method.
thing. It's all
He's
about
not the
imagery.
standard of a good guy, but I mean,
And he's not.
again,
But I'm
she's
just saying. But
younger.
that's what happened though.
That she's for TV. You're using people who are on TV.
But it's on a smaller scale.
That's not your
Instead of
everyday woman. You got to go
listen,
out there
it's
and meet
for
some everyday
you
women.
know how many listen, you know how many women I be seeing out, like I said, they got that Kardashian hookup. These white girls do it too. They got the duck lips, they fake titties, fake ass because they want to be relevant. If not, they would be basic chicks. This allows them power to manipulate other people. Regardless, it might not be just for sex, but it's for control. It's a power
Most
thing.
women are not trying to manipulate that. You think they would because if you were a woman, that's what you would do. Most
No,
women are
that's
not
what they're
doing that.
doing. They are doing it. What are
That's
you talking
not
about?
that's not
What are you
most
talking about?
women.
That
You
they
gotta
feel
learn
their value is
most
higher.
women.
They feel their value is higher if they have a BBL. You know that.
Value is higher to
No,
whom? To men? To men who wants to just fuck you and not really
listen,
marry you?
to society. You know that's the truth.
No.
They wouldn't get it. You think they would spend $10,000 on some shit to make them not feel more valuable? They don't
Yes.
value
Look
themselves
at
in its
Dolly
current state.
Parton. Dolly
What?
Parton spent tons of money on her tits to just be with her one dude.
That's what that's her MO. That she's known for titties. If she stop having titties and they got saggy, who the fuck is Dolly Parton anymore? It's about the titties, right?
No, she just did it for herself. She likes the way she looked. She
Dolly
saw a lady
Parton.
in her city and she said, wow, I really like the way she looks. She ended up getting surgery because she wanted to look better for
Thank you.
herself. She
The
has been
titties.
married since she was
She
21 years old.
She's known for the titties, though.
She
She's
wanted
known for
to
the
get on.
titties.
That's why she got them titties.
She was known for her titties, yeah, but she
Yeah,
can't
I
help
know.
what she's known for. That's
So if
not
she
what she
didn't have the
wanted to
titties,
do. I'm
would she
known
be
for
as
my
popular?
ass. That's not what I want. That just
Would,
happens to be what I'm built as.
if Dolly Parton didn't have the titties, would she be as popular? Answer that question.
No,
Would she be popular? I don't know. I think
No.
that stood out more, but just because she had, there's other women who don't have titties who's popping. So
If you
titties,
if you did the word association, anybody that says Dolly Parton, they're going to say titties next.
now,
Okay.
yeah, I agree. But she
I
wasn't
know.
doing it to pull dudes. You never hear about Dolly Parton cheating on nobody. You never heard about her having 2-3 different dudes. She had the same man for 40 years. She got it to enhance herself. All I'm saying is, are there some women who do what you say? Yeah. Is that the majority? No.
Yes.
No. Out of 100 women, you're telling me how many is probably would get this surgery for men?
I didn't say necessarily for men by it itself. I said as a manipulation or to feel relevant. And you know that's the truth.
Who are they
Because
manipulating?
because if you are satisfied within your own skin, you're not going to change your body. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with you. They're not satisfied in their
Thank
skin.
you.
I agree with that.
Exactly. So that they're
But who are
changing
they
it
manipulating?
and they want attention.
Who
For
are they
men and women.
manipulating?
Like you just said, you get your doors open, men and women, they buy you drinks
That's
and
not
shit
manipulation.
because you got a Cadillac ass. So now
That's not
people are looking at your
manipulation.
ass. That's
Dante
it
is a
is in a
handsome
sense.
man. If
It
women
is
come
in
and
a
just do
sense.
things
It
because
is, man.
he's handsome, does that mean he's manipulating the women?
No, but you said
Okay.
it gives you a higher status to have a big ass, right?
Dante has higher
This-
status, so he's manipulating women just off the pure looks.
What are you talking? Did he get
Dante's
surgery?
manipulating bitches. Be honest.
If Dante was ugly and he got surgery on his face and shit, it would be because he ain't satisfied and he wants to be the Dante that we see now that can do it, right? But if you already used to where you at in your own skin, it's nothing. It's second nature. You didn't already have Dante had all
That's a
since he was younger.
self-esteem thing. If Dante
Thank
went and
you.
got his face fixed,
Right.
that's because he felt like it's a self-esteem thing. If he felt he was ugly and he wanted to, it's a personal
But
self-esteem
why? But
thing.
okay.
Doesn't
But
mean he's
why
necessarily trying to
though?
get bitches. But if he gets
No.
bitches, that's a byproduct of his work.
But his status will be elevated from him being a not handsome guy to a handsome guy. Is
That's
that
not
right?
his fault. That's just a byproduct of that.
But it's okay. It's
y'all
just a
saying-
It's not
byproduct.
manipulation.
Yeah, y'all saying the same thing, but y'all saying it from two different scopes. I mean, listen, you can say that people do it for themselves, but there are natural other rewards that come with it, and they can't go unspoken on at all. It can't just be, oh, I just did this. It just so happens that I got all this. You have to account for all of those things. So you know damn well you was gonna get that other shit too.
That's your main goal, though. That's just if I lose
That's
weight,
fine.
if I lose 70 pounds today
man,
because I want to feel better, and more men are attracted to me because, like, is that just what happens? Yeah, sure, but that's not my intent. My intent is to be healthier because I'm getting older, and weight on your heart is too much. But
That's
per
fine.
track, I'm doing it for niggas.
No, he's talking about attention of competing with other women, the industry, niggas, like attention and value as a whole, not just only men, to compete with other women, to compete with younger women, to stay relevant in an industry if you're an actor or if you're on TV. to compete with it. Like he's talking about all of it as a whole, not only for niggas. And you're right, some women do, not most.
I agree.
I can agree with that. Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad you can agree.
We come
All
to the
right,
finish right on time.
all right. So that's about the end of our show, y'all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's get the last thoughts. We got about men. Are men really afraid of dying alone, Dante? What's your final thoughts on that?
Listen, man, I don't know. I will let you know when I get there. But I will tell you this. If you are, man, I'm going to revert back to the same advice that I provided before. Use what you got to get what you want while you're in your strength, while you're in your superpower, while you're in your best and at your best is the best opportunity for you to procure something for your future. So if you do want that woman, if that is something that you think about, growing in age and having that partner and person that's going to be there to help add years to your life, use those opportunities you have now to procure that future. Don't wait. Don't delay. Get in the game while you got the tools to do the best job.
All right, good job. What about you, Payne? Even though we got a black screen, what you got to say?
Let me tell you. Yeah, men are afraid of dying alone. Study shows it. Fact shows it. They're afraid of dying alone. So be kind, treat people with empathy, and you're less likely to be alone.
Okay, nice. Okay, my final thought is, I think for the most part, as we get older, we realize that we are not invincible. Um, there are so many different levels to life, and we shouldn't have to go through these things by ourselves. That's not how God intended it to be. But nowadays, with the modern age, where it's all this technology, um, people act like they don't need each other. Everybody's independent. I think that as we get older, we get smarter, and we realize that hey, listen, it's much more to the life than just being by ourselves. And I think for that reason, yes, I would not want to be alone. When I died, that's why I got married when I turned 50. I did not want to go through the rest of my life by myself. I had fun while it lasted, but it was like I said, it was just fun. Like I said, most of these women are saltwater. You play with them like you're on the beach, and then you get out of it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I've come to know that there's a lot more levels to this thing. And like I said, I just feel so bad for people who don't get to experience that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just handling like the first levels of the game, but there's so many different levels to reach, you know what I'm saying, in your life, especially with a partner and somebody that really cares, for you. And for that reason, yeah, I would say that most men don't want to be alone. So, that's why, a lot of times they might even go back, stay with their mama, whatever the case may be. But very few men, are single, and lonely by themselves when they get older. So yeah, so my answer to that is yes, I think most men are afraid of dying alone, you know what I'm saying, without, somebody being around them. But until next time, like I said, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We kind of had to throw this together. I'm in a remote location, but we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until next time,
Next
come back,
week.
same place, same time. Yep, next week. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Yep. Peace out. Mhm.